Good morning, gang. Happy Saturday morning. So, the words you need to perk up your ears for over the next year and a half are going to be public health emergency. Okay. We're going to be hearing that a lot. And inevitably, what it is going to be used is to strip you of all your rights, constitutional rights, human rights, whatever you want to call it. It's to take your rights away. And another volley was lobbed yesterday, this time in New Mexico. Okay. And the contradiction of all of this is insane to say the least, but you'll see it. Okay. Yesterday in New Mexico, Governor Michelle Grisham issued a executive order or an emergency order for the state of New Mexico, at least for the city of Albequerque, that for the next 30 days, it will be illegal to carry a firearm unless you're a cop. Okay? She classified this as an emergency public health order. Now, I think we'd all agree, bullets can kill you. That's why we carry them, to protect ourselves. Okay? Bad guys carry them too. Okay? We know that. That's inevitable. Do you think the gangs in MS-13 or the Bloods and the Crips or pick one of these other gangs? I mean, we're talking New Mexico guys, okay? Bordering Mexico. Do you think the coyotes trying to get fentanyl or marijuana or cocaine or whatever, do you think they really care? No. So the only thing this would do, and we've heard this a million times, is this would take self-protection out of the hands of the citizens and leave the criminals who don't obey the law in the first place. That's why they're criminals. Okay. Leave them with the upper hand. A criminal's likely to think twice about doing something if he goes up to a house and the lights are on. He goes up to a house and the dogs are barking. He's looking to kidnap somebody in a grocery store, grab a kid or something if he sees you have a gun on your hip. He's less likely to take you as a target. They are looking for complete and utter dominance. If you're armed and they're armed, they don't have that dominance. Okay? So this is the thing. Now, there have been a couple of, at least for Albuquerque, higher profile shootings. They don't make the national news because it wasn't a white guy shooting a black guy. Okay. So, but at least in Albuquerque, these were higher profile shootings. Were they done by your average citizen? No. You had one where it was a couple of kids playing with dad's gun and the 14-year-old shot the 13-year-old. Okay. This law wouldn't do anything about that because nobody was carrying. Okay. You had somebody spray a bunch of bullets in a baseball game parking lot. Okay. That's criminal. Okay. That's criminals doing that. Most of us aren't running around spraying bullets. Okay. Most of us have a little bit more trigger discipline. Now, before anybody says it, we all get this. This is completely unconstitutional. And I'm going to give you a whole bunch of problems that we have here. All right. First off, she's the governor. She wrote an executive order, an emergency order. One person, okay? This is not a law, okay? This is an emergency order, which therefore causes a slight problem because now Michelle Grisham has decided she knows better than the legislature that was elected by the people of New Mexico to make the laws. So she wants to be a dictator. Works pretty well in the Biden administration plans for things. Kings and queens on the hill, like I've said many times. This is where she sees herself. So what she's issued is an order. It's not a law because Congress writes the law or a state legislature writes the state laws. Well, here's the problem. Okay, here's one of the many problems. Who did she say was going to be bound to enforce this? The state police. Okay, now let's get into a few problems with that one. First off, police swear an oath to uphold the Constitution, which this is unconstitutional, okay, and uphold the law. This isn't a law. So nowhere in an oath that a cop takes have I ever heard uphold an executive order. There's the first part, okay? So she doesn't even have the authority to say this in the first place, to write this order, and she certainly doesn't have the authority to enforce it. Okay? So we got a problem. Now, she's come out and said she expects this will be heard in court. Sure. And what have I told you many times? This is page 2 of the Democrat playbook. Page 1 is all about how to lie. Okay. Page 2 is how to circumvent the law. But it's a 30-day executive order. Well, is it going to get to court in 30 days? No. So by the time it gets to court, the court deems this is moot. It's already over. Right? This is how they try to do everything. We're gonna do something. By the time they beat it in court, it's already over what we wanted to do, so it doesn't matter. But we already got it done because we can't go back in time, right? So we got the fact that she doesn't have the authority. We got the fact that it's unconstitutional. We've got the fact that she can't use the police to enforce this. Now the other part is, if this order is supposed to take place just in Albequerque, why is it that the state police are going to be the ones to enforce it? Why isn't it the Albequerque PD? Because this isn't happening in Alamogordo or Santa Fe or anything like that. This is just for Albequerque. So why should the state police do it? Little problem there. Okay. You start getting into all sorts of stuff that this doesn't work. Now, I want to give you this. Michelle Grisham was also one of these staunch supporters of defund the police. Yet now she wants to use the police as her own Stasi to disarm a city. Again, I go back. Who are they going to take the weapons away? Joe law-abiding citizen, not Joe criminal. Okay. If she wants to do something about gun violence, how about increasing the police presence? How about telling the DA to start prosecuting criminals instead of releasing them? How about turning your back on all the idiotic law enforcement ideas that the leftists have? Oh, she can't do that. She's a hardcore leftist. Okay. You know, I told you yesterday about Biden's new border wall that he's proposing. That means the southern border, as far as Mexico is concerned, now goes all the way up to, Nevada and Oklahoma and everything like that. That, Arizona, Texas, and New Mexico are now free areas for Mexicans, Hondurans, Guatemalans, Haitians, Chinese, whatever, to go to, right? How well is she doing policing that? How many people are crossing the border into New Mexico? We don't hear about New Mexico. We hear about Arizona. We hear about Texas. Why? Because Arizona, contrary to what 2020's cheat told you, is a red state. Texas is a red state. New Mexico is a blue state. New Mexico, we're a sanctuary state, okay? It's hard to defeat their whole purpose of screaming and yelling about, how do you do that one? We're a sanctuary state and we're a border state. I mean, New Mexico can't do a whole lot of crying about illegals coming across, right? Because they said, here's the line, come, go ahead and cross it. We want you here. Right? So you get that issue. But where's the easiest place to get people guns, drugs into the United States. New Mexico, right? Why aren't we enforcing anything down there, Governor? Let me ask you that, okay? Because all those guns that are coming across that you're not doing anything about, but you're more worried about taking away the guns of people like us who want to protect ourselves from the people that you are letting in freely because you aren't doing your job. This is the first volley, guys. They're going to start using public health emergency to ban everything. Oh, we're going to have to restrict your gasoline because emissions are a public health emergency. Oh, we're going to have to restrict how much beef you buy because cows cause a public health emergency. Do you see where I'm going with this? It's a far stretch to say a gun has anything to do with public health, yet they're twisting it to do it. Get ready for this to start coming. Those of us in red states, it's going to be a lot longer. However, the mass migration in this country, again, look where people are moving from. California, New York, Massachusetts, Illinois, those are the ones that are coming to Tennessee. Are they conservatives? Some. Are they liberals? Some. Okay. And a lot of red states might slowly start to swing purple because of this immigration that we have going on in the United States. And those people that voted for morons like Michelle Grisham might now be your new next door neighbor. And what are they going to push? And who are they going to elect? And what is that person going to do to violate your human rights and your constitutional rights? Stay tuned, guys. We're still at the beginning of this book. Pinball out.